surrender everything they know and surrender who they are in that moment. And they're ready to just go all in to go all into the process to embrace and embody the possibility of who they could become.
Man, it's March already, and we are at the Utah Business Spotlight. I'm your host, Peter Anthony. Today, I am with my friend, and she is so cool. You guys know I love NLP. We're going to talk about it. She owns the sovereignsoul.co.co, the sovereignsoul.co. It's my friend, Tina Leann. How are you today?
I'm so good, Peter. Thanks for having me here.
Oh, the Utah Business Spotlight is the place to be. So like, subscribe, share, mostly share. Like, subscribe, comment, do something cool. But here's the thing, man. Everybody wants to know about neuro-linguistic programming, how they can fast track themselves to get the more passion out of life. You know, my background is Tony Robbins. Now you have a practice that's centered around one of the major components is NLP. Tell us about the sovereignsoul.co. Tell me what you're doing and how you're doing it.
Well, I am a life and leadership coach. And so I'm mainly working with women at the moment, a few men, but mainly women.
We love women.
Yes.
They've been very cool in my life to have lots of cool women.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Yeah, you're on the list now.
Oh, cool.
You're stuck with me.
Thanks. And I'm grateful to have some good men in my life too. So thank you for that. Yeah. And so I mainly work with women who are at that point in life where they feel like their identity is completely shifting, and they're like right in the middle where they don't know who that was, and they're not quite sure where to get here.
Isn't that an interesting place to be, right?
Yeah, it is.
You know, so often we find ourselves, we forget when we're 20 that 30 to 40 is going to be different than 20 to 30.
Yeah.
And that 40 to 60, you're a completely different human being. I watched an interesting little video this morning because I just consume a tremendous amount of videos. And the essence was you marry two people, the person I am and the person I'm going to become. And you have to fall in love with both of them when you're getting married. What I thought to myself is, I have to fall in love with the person I'm becoming and be willing to let go of the person that I was.
Yes.
What do you think about that?
I love that you have that awareness, and it's so beautiful. And actually, I just met with a client of mine this morning. We had a breakthrough session a couple of weeks ago, and we popped on Zoom, and her eyes are glistening. I said, "How are you doing?" And she said, "I feel like I just met my best friend, who's me."
I love that, right?
Yeah.
And again, you have to fall in love. If we speak about it biblically, like that's the first commandment. Like, you know, love your neighbor as you love yourself.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
I mean, like that's crazy because that it implies that you have to love yourself in order to love anybody else.
Yeah. And we're often the messaging, the training, right, is to go external, to look external for answers, to ask other people for questions and for answers to your own questions. And, you know, and we really can find the truth when we look to ourselves, when we go within, when we go to ourselves, and when we allow our voice to be louder than anybody else's.
And we chase things. It's interesting. I think, and this is what you help people overcome. We chase things that we think we want or need in order to give us some sense of certainty or some sense of significance or some sense of love or connection or contribution, right? So we chase these particular things. I remember the day we won this big award back in 1996, 97. It was the salon of the year, and there was like 5 people who won the award out of 300,000 salons, right? And we were one of them. And I'd been chasing that for about 6 years. I wanted it so bad. And I remember the day I got it, and they give you the phone call, and I walked into my office and I put my head down and I just started to cry. And people would have thought that I was crying because I have this achievement. And what I realized was I had achieved something, but I'd given something up. I was alone. I climbed the mountain, but I had no one with me. Does that make sense?
That does make
Right?
sense,
And
yeah.
then, and I was like, wow, I need to ponder this. I need to really go a little deeper into my own journey so that I'm acquiring things that have long-term value. It's great to meet a milestone, an accolade, or to win a championship. But to win a championship is not necessarily to be the champion.
Ah, true.
And
I like
I
that.
realized that I was searching for the trophy and simultaneously I'd become the champion, but I didn't recognize myself as the champion.
Right.
That I had become something completely different.
Right.
And I think one of the things that I love about your work is in the Sovereign Soul, that you're helping people recognize that all of these things have become you. And then you can also start to choose these new things that make the better you.
Exactly.
What do you think about that?
Oh, that's right on. It's so right on. And when you see the champion in yourself, when you champion yourself, right, then you make different choices. There's more clarity. There's the choices are clean, right? They're coming from a clean space. They're not coming from trauma. They're not coming from anything external. They're not coming from expectations of anybody else. They're clean choices that take you further and further and further into your truth.
See, I knew I
in all
loved you
areas of life.
because I've never heard anybody say clean choices. So I love when I learn something new. I really like that, clean.
Yeah.
And it's true because so it wouldn't be the juxta in that wouldn't be, or the comparative clean. The lack of cleanliness wouldn't necessarily mean dirty.
No.
What it could mean is just cloudy.
Yes, exactly. There's some fogginess with it, right? Like, let's say you go to law school because it's something your parents look forward to for you.
Yeah, don't bring that
instead
up.
of, oh, that's right. That's right. Oh, that's right. I forgot about,
Sorry to disappoint you in heaven now, but yeah, I didn't make it.
Yeah, that's funny that I use that example. So yeah, like you go to law school to make your parents happy instead of going to art school, right?
Right.
And doing something that makes you happy. And when you come back to yourself, when you come home to yourself, which that's such a trendy thing to say right now, when you land in your body, when you land in your embodiedness and you land in your empowerment, then you're making choices that are your truth, that make you happy, and your passion emanates and radiates and exudes from you. And that's where other people get inspired just by sitting in your presence, just by being in your presence.
I love that. And, my background being, being in the leadership corps or training or having gone to all of these seminars, one of the things that you always hear, it doesn't matter which guru's teaching, is like, you got to find your passion and you got to connect with your why. And my rebuttal is, you need to become passionate about what you do and find things within what you do that you're passionate about, or be passionate in the results of what you do creates for you and your family, versus just being passionate. It's like, oh, okay, cool. I'm an artist, so I'm going to be passionate in my art, which is super cool. I think it's awesome for all the artists that are listening. I think that's awesome. I find connection with my artistic side all the time, but my artistic side doesn't always pay the bills.
Right.
And I find greater connection with myself when I'm participating at a very high level financially and spiritually and physically with my family. And that might not necessarily be my art, but my art is the art of being a great human.
Yes.
Instead of being a great photographer or a great painter or a great writer. I can be good at those things, but I can really build out my own personal canvas. And I wish more people chased the canvas than the thing.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Oh, it totally makes sense. Not only are you the art, but your life is the art, right?
Yes.
The whole thing is the art piece
You're
in
tracking me.
all areas of life. And
Mm.
I don't really 100%, I can't get behind that follow your passion thing either, because there's so much more to it.
Mm-hmm.
And who are you as a person? While you're selecting the passion, or, you know, desiring that passion or following that passion, who are you as a person first? Because
Yeah.
you got to get down in there, you got to get down into the core of who you are, and then what comes from that place first.
And the presupposition to find your passion, find your why, the presupposition means that you're lost.
Yeah.
And so often,
Yes.
listen, man,
Yeah.
you are exactly where you want to be because you made all the choices necessary to get there.
Yeah, good point.
So if you're where you want to be and you're like, okay, cool, now I'm going to reassess. I'm here, but I thought this would be something, it's not exactly what I want, but it could be. So I just have to add more cool details to my GPS so that I could get to a cool place too.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
just
people-
fine tuning, right?
Yeah.
And little different choices, make different choices along the way. Your choices, your language gets you here, got you here. And if you shift it just a little bit, change the filter, change little things within yourself, you'll get different results.
And I love that about your work, because the way you approach it, it's not ever making people wrong for their previous choices. It's saying, hey, welcome to your new set, man.
Yeah.
This is cool. We're going to celebrate your graduation.
Yeah.
You know, like I know it's going to become to a big shock for everybody that I am a different person than I was in kindergarten. I'm a different person than I was when I was a junior in high school. I'm a different person than I was when I was a sophomore or freshman in college. I'm just a different person. And today, I really love the person that I am, but I need to make sure I honor the people. And I say people. So when I was hanging out with Wayne Dyer, he had this theory, which I really adopted and loved. And the theory was based on every 7 years, not only did our bodies different, but we are different people. And if you look at from 0 to 7, the newborn is completely different than the 7-year-old. The 7-year-old is completely different than the 14-year-old. The 14-year-old is completely different than the 21. The 21 is completely different than the 28. The 28 is completely different than the 35. The 35 is completely different than the 42. And at 49, you're seeing the world differently. At 56, you completely experience it differently. At 63, you're like, what's going on?
Yeah.
I'm very close to that. What's going on? And what's interesting, when Wayne introduced that idea to me, maybe 21, 22 years ago, one of his last seminars before he passed, it was just so cool. And we were hanging out and we were talking. I was sitting next to his mom, and he was celebrating his mother's birthday and showing all these pictures of the people that she'd been. And today I look at my life and I celebrate the people who've contributed to the man that I am. And I'm certain, like, I want to get your feedback on that, because I think that's one of the directions that your work takes you and your clients. And that's why you're so busy. And if you want to get in touch with her, it's the sovereignsoul.co. We're going to get her a .net too, just from the marketing, Peter Anthony. She needs the .net and the .org. But it's the sovereignsoul.co. But that's what you're celebrating. You're celebrating the soul and the movement of the soul through this short time span we call life.
Yes. Yes. And I love that you said that every 7 years we're shifting. And I think we embrace that from birth through marriage and when we first have kids, and then at some point we forget that we're meant to change.
Yes.
And we fight to stay the same for some reason.
Or we forgot that we are changing regardless.
Exactly, right? We think something's wrong because we're changing. We think that everything is supposed to stay the same job,
man.
the same house, the same.
The same person.
And you're continuously changing, right?
Yeah, man.
And like you said, and how I work with my clients, you're not broken. There is nothing wrong with you at all. You are taking lessons from before birth, right? You're taking from your lineage, taking all the wisdom and the lessons and all of that, and you're just integrating and alchemizing and incorporating that into who you are becoming. And the becoming is almost, it's a return, right?
So let's walk through, what is your favorite and best type of client? Who do you love to work with?
I love working with people who are right at that place where they're like, I'm so close, I'm almost there. I just can't figure out the next step. And they're willing to surrender everything that surrender everything they know and surrender who they are in that moment. And they're ready to just go all in to go all into the process to embrace and embody the possibility of who they could become.
So let me ask you, so the person that you love, they're understanding that they're ready to move forward, which is an interesting concept. How do I know I'm ready? Like, that's really the question that would really actually apply to your marketing.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like,
yes.
How do I find the person who's ready?
Yeah.
And how do they identify within themselves that they're ready?
Yeah.
And it could be something as simple as, hey, man, if you've been doing the same thing for a series of years, and for some reason you wake up and you're grateful but not excited. You got to find that one little trigger.
Yeah. And it's mostly they feel uncomfortable in their life in the moment. They feel like it doesn't fit anymore, but they can't figure out, like, why doesn't it fit? Is it me? Is it the situation? What is it? What is it about
What
this
doesn't
fit?
Yeah.
It feels a little disconcerting, feels a little itchy maybe. Something just feels off and I can't figure it out. So it usually starts there. And then they start diving into maybe some podcasts or some books and, start learning a few things. And then they're realizing,
they're already
like,
starting
I'm
to
shifting.
search.
Yeah.
And then they stumble upon you.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to make them not stumble upon you. We're going to make them seek you out.
Okay.
That's what we do at the incubator,
Cool.
baby. Yeah, so I love that you are so clear in the best moment to join you. Right? Most business owners don't have that level of clarity. That's why they're not as successful as you are. I understand that the sovereignsoul.co, okay, the sovereignsoul.co, you're really invested in their journey.
I am.
And I think that's so cool.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for taking the time. If you could give one piece of advice to somebody who wanted to start a coaching business, what advice would you give them?
I would say information is available more than ever right now with AI and all the resources that we have. Information is available. Let people know how they will transform in your space.
Oh, very cool.
Results. Yeah.
Share what the journey looks like.
What the journey looks like.
Looks, feels, tastes.
Exactly, yes.
Start to put some context to the journey. I love
Yes,
that.
yeah.
Very, very strong advice. Well, we are here with the creator of the sovereignsoul.co, my friend. She is rocking it out. Where can people find you beyond your website?
On Instagram, I am Tina Leann. And I also have a podcast, the Sovereign Soul Podcast. You can find on Spotify and Apple.
Oh, cool. The Sovereign Soul Podcast. I want to be on that one day. That sounds very cool. Everybody look for the Sovereign Soul Podcast. Make sure you look for her on Instagram, Tina Leann. Let's rock it out. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you so much for having me.